Reflection for April 21st. Today's reading from Jesus' Bread of Life discourse in the Gospel of John has long been a subject of theological analyses and homilies. But perhaps the invitation here today is to simplicity, to consider one of Jesus' most important teachings in the context of that which we know so well, bread. In Jesus' time, bread served as a major source of sustenance. On Friday, our gospel showed us a crowd of 5,000 who had followed Jesus to hear his teaching, having arrived without food. Jesus multiplied a few loaves of bread as well as some fish to feed the crowd, with a considerable amount left over. In reflecting on that, we may have found a connection with the Israelites fed with manna to sustain them in the desert all those years. The people of Jesus' time were well aware of that, and Jesus in our gospel drew on the certainty of that food for his words today. In our times, bread is central in many parts of the world, including our own. How often have we seen news videos of people starving in Gaza, Lebanon, other war-torn and impoverished parts of our world, and even in parts of our own country? We see mothers, fathers crying that they cannot even find bread to feed their families or themselves. How, they wonder, can they continue to live without this major source of nourishment? And for us, who do not lack food, let us take some time to think about bread in our own lives. We not only have all the bread we might desire, but have multiple other sources of food to sustain us. Yet bread is an important part of our diet. Crusty baguette, soft bun, slice or two of multigrain or any other kind of bread, gluten or even gluten-free. Bread can be an important part of a meal both for nourishment and enjoyment. Think about the pleasure of dipping bread into the juices of a stew, bread spread with butter or other toppings, or bread simply dipped in olive oil. Not only is it part of a good meal, but it can also be a symbol of friendship, of comradeship. Don't we even use bread as a symbol of coming together, as in breaking bread together? It is this context, bread as sustenance and bread as source of meal sharing, that we may understand today's gospel. When Jesus fed the crowds, John notes, people saw the sign he had done, recognizing Jesus as prophet. Then yesterday, when the crowd found Jesus across the sea, Jesus told them, "Do not work for food that perishes, but for the food that endures for eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you." And today Jesus continues, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never hunger, and whoever believes in me will never thirst." Finally, on this coming Friday, Jesus tells the crowd, "This is the bread that came down from heaven. Unlike your ancestors who ate and still died, whoever eats this bread will live forever." As bread nourishes our body, the risen Jesus sustains us and brings us together to be nourished. Unlike the bread we consume each day, though, Jesus sustains us into eternal life. And that belief brings us together as a community in the Eucharist, believing Jesus to be present as we gather around the table in memory of him. Once again, Jesus has chosen an item from our daily lives to teach us that he is sustenance for each and for all of us, and ours for the taking. All we need do is come to him and believe. Jesus' invitation is not difficult to understand unless we make it so. In all simplicity, he utters his promise. I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never hunger, and whoever believes in me will never thirst.